Hi, I'm G, this is my art channel, and the very generous people at Chalkola have sent me a pack of their markers to try out, so I thought I'd have a bit of a play about with them and then share my results with you. And this pack of 21 markers came with 15 chalk pens and 6 metallic markers, and there was a lot of information on the box. It tells you what surfaces it's best used on, from car and home windows to wine glasses, chalkboards, whiteboards, plastic. And it also lists on the side of the box the 15 colors with a little kind of swatch so you can see roughly what color that you're getting there. And then on the back, it's got a website where you can pick up loads of little ideas and stuff, and it's got a quick start guide in 4 steps. And if you like to know what goes into your markers, there's a little bit on the back that actually lists all the ingredients that go into these markers. Then on the side it shows you the metallic markers, and it also gives you some tips like they're child safe, water based, non-toxic, and hopefully washes off from clothes. So next up, what I wanted to do is have a look at them and see what I was going to be playing about with. So I opened up the box and did a big reveal, and those are the big kind of size markers that we're talking about in there. So you can see the 15 markers, and you can also see the little case down the side which is holding the 6 metallic markers. So they're quite a big, chunky kind of shaped marker. And one of the first things I was interested in was this 6mm reversible tip, and it actually came away really easily, revealing that there was a chisel tip on the opposite end of the marker, so you could obviously flip it around and have either a bullet tip or a chisel tip. Shake well with cap on and upright, remove cap, 30 seconds. And if you're anything like me, you always shake these markers for a little bit more than it says on the side of the packet. So 35 seconds later, press the tip to and fro multiple times to quickly get the ink flowing, recap tightly after use, and store in a horizontal position. So I decided to squeeze the nib to and fro on a plastic watch case, just so if any of the stuff came out, it would be okay because it was on one of the surfaces that you were supposed to be able to use this thing. So I just kept on dipping it after having shook the marker for about 30-35 seconds. And sure enough, probably within 30 seconds, not the minute to 3 minutes that it suggests, some of that really nice kind of chalk marker ink came out. I did notice, however, that the nib got a little bit blunted and roughed up when I was pressing it. Write with your marker. Push down pen when you need extra ink. So I thought for my first go I'd try the markers on glass. So I got myself this little glass jar, and here you can see me using the bullet tip with the yellow mark, and you can see how bright it is straight away. It's a really, really lovely, bright, garish kind of yellow, and it's also really nicely opaque, which is, of course, I'm guessing what you want from a chalk marker. So here I am drawing out just a rough butterfly design with a couple little bubbles around it, and the one thing that I noticed was because the bullet tip was so thick, it didn't really lend itself to very, very fine, detailed work. Now, the packet said that these markers were quick drying, but I noticed that this yellow was only touch dry after almost 4 minutes. Now, for my second color, my red, I decided to take advantage of the reversible tip and use a chisel tip this time, because I thought using the slightly angled chisel tip would give me a lot more control, maybe a little bit more fine control that the bullet tip really didn't give me when I was doing the yellow lines, and it totally did as well. By using the chisel tip gently on its very kind of tip edge, I was able to get some really nice fine lines with which to do some of the interior colors on this butterfly. And also the other thing I noticed is the ink is really beautifully flowing out of these markers. I didn't have to tap it again at any stage. It just seemed to be coming out really nicely. Not too much, not giving you a massive blob on top of your work, but just a nice steady flow coming out of them. So even though I'm working on a small scale here on my desk, I was thinking that, you know, because they work so well on glass, you could use these on glass windows probably really effectively, but also glass plates, glass jars, glass cutlery if you were into decorating things like that. I think they would be a really, really good choice for that kind of decoration. So I thought I'd finish off the design using another primary color, blue, and the blue had a very royal blue cap and barrel, so I was wondering, is it really that kind of color? And as you can see, it's a much more opaque, bright, electric kind of blue when it actually comes flowing out of the marker. Nothing wrong with that, it still looks amazing and really, really stands out, but I just wanted to see if it was exactly the same color as what was on the, you know, the kind of barrel and cap. And there you go, there you can see my finished glass design. To wash off, you must use a wet cloth or Windex. Other window cleaning products are available. And here you can see a couple of the tester kind of blobs that were on the plastic case. And these have been left to dry for 10 minutes. And you can see the blue still smudges with a finger, and yet the yellow is dried completely, and I can actually rub that off. So here you can see me using the damp tissue paper that it describes to wipe that off the plastic, and it worked absolutely fine. And then I thought that's actually a pretty cool technique that you can use. So here what you can see me doing is coloring solid color on the glass jar and then using a cotton bud to wipe away a pattern, almost like scraping or scratching out a pattern in the actual thick opaque chalk marker on top, and it worked really well. So next up, I thought I'd try the whiteboard, which is usually stuck to my fridge with a whole bunch of stuff on it. And this time I thought I'd try something different. Coming from an artsy kind of background, I thought, well, can you blend these markers? Because every marker that I've ever used before is one that you can, blend together and maybe mix colors and get a kind of gradation of tone. So I thought I would try that on the whiteboard using a sort of cloud idea and using just a black marker and just the white chalk marker together. And then, since I'd already used the cotton bud for a couple of other purposes, I thought, okay, I'll use the cotton bud here and see if this will blend the two colors together. And I got to say, sort of a fashion, it did. I didn't try any other tools to blend them together, and I didn't try a brush. I just thought that, considering it's chalk and I didn't want to mess up my brushes, I thought I'll just use something that's a bit more disposable, like a cotton bud. And I was able to get quite a good gradation of tone from dark to light. And then I decided, right, I got to put on a little bit less black and a little bit more white. And, again, try just sort of like dragging that cotton bud back and forth through the two colors, trying to blend them together to get this kind of nice sort of like light to dark kind of transition. And considering it was a cloud, so it was a bit kind of fluffy looking anyway, it actually worked quite well. And I was quite pleased with the kind of overall effect that I was able to get. And the more that I used it, the better I felt that I was getting a handle on blending these two colors together. And if you didn't want to be all artsy, you could just use them to put your to-do list on your whiteboard. And now you know that my hand was out on the 14th of September. My next non-porous surface was a bit of ceramic, and instead of being sensible and just getting a kind of flat plate, I decided I'd use my ceramic art palette to test these on, which came with its own challenges. But here you can see me laying down a first layer of sort of light green, and I thought I'd just add some shadows using the dark green, and I found it a bit tricky to get them thin enough to sort of add that kind of shadow. It was probably more successful through the middle strand of this kind of design, but they still worked absolutely fine. And from there, I moved on to using them on metal. So I got myself a metal can, and I just did a really simple kind of hearts and kind of Keith Haring flashing line kind of design on top of the can. And again, they worked absolutely brilliantly and were really nice and opaque. So I thought I'd try those opacity on an actual existing design on the can. And again, they were really nice and opaque, worked out well. Then I thought I'd try the metallic markers. Now, the metallic markers were a lot smaller and didn't involve any kind of reversible tip, and they had a smaller tip to begin with. So I thought I'd try them on my phone case. So I took my phone case off, and I just did a sort of really simple kind of improvised doodly design, trying to use all of the marker colors on the inside of my phone case, thinking that then when I flip it and put it on the phone, the chalk markers won't get rubbed off or anything. And the white holes you can see on the other side are just me making a sort of framework around where there are stickers on my phone already, thanks to my daughter, and I didn't want the marker lines to go over those, so I left a little space so that when I then turned it over, put my phone back in and wiped that front bit, the stickers looked okay, and you had the pattern and design, all around the stickers instead. And I was really pleased with the way it came out, but I have to say that silver and gold, as usual, were the most successful metallic colours. So that was my first go with Chalkola chalk markers, and I thought they would be absolutely ideal for teachers, children, and perhaps other chalk artists as well. I'll put a link to their website below if you're interested and you'd like to find out a little bit more. And if you like my video, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. So those are my first go investigations, and if there's anything that I didn't try, then please leave a comment below and maybe I can cover that in a future video. And also, if there's some way you use the chalk markers that I didn't cover and you'd like to, tell me about, then please use the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you like this first go video, then I've done some other arty reviews of various products, and you can watch those by clicking on the links below.